How do you feel here in Bulgaria?
I feel so great. It's a bit of a time capsule for me because it feels like returning. I mean, I was also commenting with Daniele, our designer, that it feels like going back in time some 30 years, but in a good way because now, Western Europe and the US is it's in a state of disarray, whereas here everyone is nice, places are very clean, feels safe, feels good. You see a lot of young people smiling and all that, so it feels really good actually when I'm here.
What is your recap of the Samsung Fashion Show about the blend of technology and fashion, and was the Bulgarian public impressed by the new collection?
Well, I think nowadays, and that's the change of modern times. Everyone is connected, so I don't think there's a more of a divide between technology and life in general, and the lifestyle of a person is also measured by their own Instagram or TikTok or whatever. So I think that the blending of technology and fashion is more and more apparent everywhere we go. And I think that the show kind of encapsulated that. It was kind of nice to see that, and it's not a forced blending. I mean, they interact properly. I mean, even if you see the models just picking the phone, it looks like a natural act. It's not something that you have to mimic in a way. So yeah, I think the show itself was really good. Great venue, amazing location. That's something that, again, you can do only in places like these. If you do that in somewhere else in Europe or so, it would be very, very difficult to orchestrate. And I think that the public reacted very well. I heard a lot of good comments. I was talking to even the concierge here, who heard a lot of good things. So I think, yeah, that was a very refreshing moment, I would say.
Samsung Fashion Show is focused entirely on Gen Z. Why did you choose to address this audience?
In fashion, Gen Z is the the big target, and Just Cavalli is all about Gen Z in reality, because it has to transcend, what Gen Z stands for, which is all about blending of culture, hodgepodge mix of things, and even the redefinition of genders. In fact, one of the guys wore perfectly a long dress and walked on heels. So that's the modern approach to things, and we specifically target Gen Z with Just Cavalli as a whole, and actually to do it on a stage like that, together with something that is very close and dear to Gen Z, which is technology. That's really the blend.
What was your inspiration for this new collection? And could you tell us more about the workflow in Just Cavalli?
Okay, the workflow is may sound complicated to someone who's not in fashion. Basically, Daniele, our designer, thinks of a macro trends or themes, and then he has a very strong team of graphic designers together with him, and they live and breathe the same air every day, and that's really the thinking process. So, whereas more often than not, when you design a collection, you start from a certain very theoretical point. They start from a very practical one. So they start dissecting what the needs should be. First they work on colors. So what is interesting for the year? What do you want to portray as a colorway? How do you see your girl and your guy wearing in terms of look and feel? And then they start translating, so it falls almost naturally in a collection. And then they start designing the shapes, and then once you do that, also the accessories come in and blend it all. So it is a pretty constructed kind of moment. So it's not something that it is very paced. So in that, it differs very much from technology, where you have to be very engineered and everything. When it comes to fashion, and especially this type of fashion, there's a lot of inspiration, there's a lot of looking around, there's a lot of research, interpretation, understanding what the customer wants, understanding what you want to be, and then you start from some big strong points, because basically you have to think about the timing first. When do you want to see that in action, and what is going to be down the track? Because when you start designing, basically is 1 year before it actually reaches the public. So you have to really think, so it's going to be, what is the world going to be in 1 year time? No one knows. So you have to be a little bit of a magician to predict the future, but at the same time try to be yourself, which is the entire reason why a brand exists.
How important it is to be on trend?
I wouldn't think, I mean, if you're a follower, you have to be on trend. If you're a leader, you dictate the trend. So at the end of the day, it's not that important to be on trend. You have to create your own trend. Now, for example, the trend, or only up until a few months ago, the trend was quite luxury. So very subdued colors, very safe. Now this is no longer the trend. For Just Cavalli, nothing has been quiet since forever, so you cannot do quiet. So if Just Cavalli followed the trend, it would have had a complete different output. And so on purpose, we don't follow trends. I mean, we have to be ourselves, and that's what at the end of the day differentiates one brand from another. So again, it depends on who you want to be. I mean, if you want to be the head of the pack, you decide the course, and you decide what you want to be, where you want to go, and so on and so forth. And then maybe you create a trend, or maybe you're in trend, or maybe you're completely off trend, but people appreciate for who you are. If you are a follower on the other end, you just and that's what fast fashion really is at the end. So you want to be in trend because it's now or never. When you're a brand, you don't need to be.
Could you give us 3 tips how to look good, well dressed?
I would think the first tip is to feel confident. So if you like yourself, people will like you anyway. So that's the first thing. So you may wear something that you may not think it matches, but if you feel confident, that's good enough. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, differentiate. Think of different moments, think of different moods. So you wake up one way or another way, it's on in nature. So dress by the mood. Don't overdress, don't underdress. Just follow the flow. And third, try and create a little bit of flow. So whatever you do, choose things that you feel comfortable with, that go well together, rather than force something on you. So you're not in uniform, and that's a perk. And by doing that, obviously you have a wide array of possibilities of what you do. But again, if you choose according to your mood and according to your degree of comfort, and then you go flawless into that, that's how you end up well dressed.
Thank you so much for your answers and time.
Absolutely, my pleasure.